Hello everybody and welcome back to FDE. Bam, bam, we got another one, another feature win. Unfortunately, they said that they didn't have any first place medals and they were being delivered or on order. So I don't have that to show you, but they did have the second and third place medals, of course. Hopefully the next time we go race, they'll have them back in stock and I can get it then. But man, this was a great week. I wanted this race so bad, even from the beginning of the day, just really mentally focused. And as soon as we got to the track, I was ready to go. And the kart felt great. It was quick, it was fast, and honestly just was an overall amazing day. It was a well-fought day too. Unfortunately, with it being a holiday weekend, there were less competitors. There was only 3 of us this time. Even with that small of a group, I still had to do some things that I wouldn't normally do to take away the win. Absolutely sent the kart, definitely in Heat 2, where I don't normally want to go, but I had to do it in order to get it, and you'll see why. But overall, such a great weekend. I was super thrilled about this, and even in the finale at the very end when I won, I just kind of went crazy screaming to myself, but it's because I really wanted this. So Heat 1, right out of the gate, I wanted to show the beginning of how Heat 1 started, and I just wanted to point this out that we came around the corner and we were not lined up correctly well enough for the flagmen, so they had us come around. But one cool thing about racing with adults and having adults understand what goes on and how things work, it shows that we literally came out of turn 2 and had to be lined up and ready to go by turn 3 to bring the green flag around. That shows how ready we can be as drivers. You know, when kids have a caution or something like that, and even some adults, depending on the class, they come around the corner and they may have to do a lap or 2 and then have to stop and then reorganize. It's cool to be with a group of guys to be able to understand of, all right, caution flag, what happened? It was because we are out of line. All right, boys, let's get back to the start. Let's get things ready. And within half a lap, not even that, we came around the corner, we're running green already. So that was really kind of neat right out of the gate. So Heat 1, I was by far the fastest kart, absolutely. And I didn't get a good P-pick for that day. I got 2, so I got stuck on the outside of both heats. And that is, to me, the worst place to be to start, but I had to deal with it. By lap 3, I could have probably stuck my nose in there and maybe try to brush them out, but I've been around racing with these treads long enough to understand that you don't really want to stick your nose, especially the front right part of your nose, close to that left rear tire of the person in front of you, because that thing will snag you and pull you up in the cart. I've done it plenty of times, and it clicked. It's like, nope, this is not gonna work. So I just kind of backed off and just kept trying to find a spot to get him, and honestly just couldn't make it happen. You know, that goes back to a video I stated earlier where sometimes you just got to say, hey, you know, you got this one. You know, congrats, I can't get past you. You weren't necessarily the faster kart, but I couldn't get around you. So, you know, I got beat on that one. Go ahead, take it. And that's just how it rolls. On the last lap, though, I don't know what I was thinking. I tried to send it through the pucks. Didn't need to do it. Honestly, it didn't hurt anything. It's just I thought maybe I would have an edge. He wasn't low enough at all for me to even try to consider doing that. You know, if he was up higher, I maybe would have had a better chance with it, but not so much. But either way, it was a good race. Luckily, we got some picture-in-picture this time from a perspective view, so I'll let you guys see that as well. So take a look. So Heat 2 was just as much fun as Heat 1. As a matter of fact, Heat 2 was a little bit more involved, action-packed, I'd say. Right out of the gate, I was in P2 position again, so of course I started on the outside, but this time first and third were inverted. I tried to maintain outside, but I knew it wasn't going to probably hold the best. So honestly, he just got a little bit of brush on me. I let him go ahead and came back into 2. At that point, it was a hunt, and I knew I was the fastest kart again because I was pushing him and budging him, nudging him, and just on his butt the entire time. And he dang well knew it too, because I was breaking his kart loose a couple times. I'm not gonna talk about blocking, but I think I'll let the video speak for itself. That's all I'm basically going to say. I'm not a fan of it, but sometimes it is what it is. I was on him quite a bit to the point where I had an inside position, and like I said in Heat 1, I should have known better because the front right caught on the body on his back left rear, and it threw me up on him. But regardless, we got broke loose and started again. So here's the thing, I ended up falling back to third during the restart or a little bit after, but I knew that I could get around him or under him depending on where he was going to be. And so I saw him position himself where he was. I knew where I was positioned. I knew where I was going to be able to break from underneath him. So once I worked my way back up into second, again, it was just on his rear, on him the whole time. Just keep pushing, keep pushing. Now in the back of my mind, I'm thinking this. In Heat 1, we finished the same positions that we started. Heat 2, we're lined up to finish the same positions that we started. What that means is if we finish the same way we started, I was gonna start in second position on the feature, which puts me on the outside again. I didn't want that. So at the end, I saw the last lap and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna send the kart. I'm gonna send it and see what it does. It was another one of those moments of, Mac, you gotta do something drastic here, do it. Coming into turn 3, I gave him a little nudge and it broke him a little high, and I saw an inside path. The only problem was I was going to have to send it over the pucks, but I had to take the chance. And I did. I absolutely did. I nudged him a little bit. He came up a little loose, and I sent that thing over the pucks. It feels really bad when you drive a vehicle with no suspension over those pucks. It doesn't look like it because the camera smooths out the video, but gosh dang, every time you come over those, I just cringe a little bit. But I had to send it, and it was a thin line finish, and luckily I got the win, which meant I was the only one in Heat 2 and Heat 1 together that made any kind of progress, which set me up for pole position and the feature. So take a look. So the feature race, I start P position, pole position in the number 1 spot. And I knew from the previous heats that I was fast, and I knew that I was gonna be a tough one to beat. I had so much confidence going in that day, and I was so mentally prepared for this. I was screaming and yelling and hollering at myself. It was an absolute blast, that feature. Boring video to watch if you're doing the first person view, but the perspective view you can at least see. I will say it took me probably 3 or 4 laps to figure out where the kart wanted to be ran. So the thing I'm super happy about learning through all my karting experience is understanding that there is a line for every kart out there. You just have to find it. So it took me a couple laps to figure out where that line was going to be. And in the beginning, I kept wanting to send the kart on 3 and 4. I kept wanting to send it in on a low to medium line, shoving it in, hoping it would pull around, but it wouldn't because it would want to break loose. So I was like, all right, let's try a different line on 3 and 4. So I brought the kart up progressively more and more and more higher on the straightaway out of 2, and then throwing it down into 3. And in a couple more laps, I found out, all right, in turn 1 and 2, I can do a low to medium line and it'll hold. In turn 3 and 4, I've got to do a high line out of the backside and throw it in. And as soon as I found that out, and as soon as I found out where the sweet spot was with the kart, perfect. It was dialed in. I was so ecstatic. I was yelling at myself. I was cheering. I was focused and ready to go. And then at the end, you know, when that checkered flag finally dropped, I went nuts. I went crazy. I don't know what else to say besides this was a race that I wanted very badly, and I don't know exactly why. Maybe it was because it's been dang near a month, I think, 3 weeks to a month since we last raced, and I was just ready to just go again. Interestingly enough, I was not the fastest in the feature that night. I wasn't the fastest car. I didn't have the fastest best lap, but I will say I do believe I was the most consistent with my fast laps, which is what will win races. You can have one fast lap, sure, but if you're not consistent with those fast laps, it doesn't really matter. So overall, had a great night, and big props and big shout outs to the track crew. They set up a great track that night. It was a great track. It was probably a 1.5 lane track that night. It would be nice to have the two lane track, but with that small of a turnout, I would say overall, you know, you're lucky to get a full one. Overall, great time. Great to see things still progressing. Got that number 1 first place finish. Don't have the medal. Hopefully I'll have it next time for you. But either way, take a look. Thanks again. See you guys. Woo! God, we needed that. God, we needed that. Woo! Yeah, baby. Thank you.